Okay, Father, what is your view of the evidence evolutionists use to prove the Earth is old, such as radiometric dating? Should they be trusted? So I'm not an expert in these kind of things, and so I'm not gonna venture an opinion, which I don't have a good basis for analyzing radiometric dating. But I will say that the Orthodox answer, which is provided very decisively, I think, and conclusively in the book on Genesis, Creation, and Early Man by Father Seraphim Rose, put out by St. Herman of Alaska Press. It's a massive 700-page book, I think it is now, or 600-page. That is going to provide you with the best answers. And of course, the answer is that the Orthodox are not impressed with the arguments for evolution. It's not possible to accept evolution and to embrace the Orthodox cosmology. One of the most basic and easy ways to show this is that there is Orthodox patristic theology is that the man fell first. On account of man's fall away from communion with God, creation fell also as subservient to man, and therefore followed, as it were, almost obediently to God, to man, and therefore all of creation groans because of man's sin, and then the restoration of mankind in the death, resurrection, and ascension of Christ restores with it all of creation. And we see this in the lives of the saints, that they live a kind of paradisical pre-fall reality with creation. They commune with creation. St. Paisius, St. Seraphim of Seraphim, many other saints, Erasmus of the Jordan. And so that's incompatible with the idea that we have a old earth, right? You're asking about old earth, essentially. And old earth would mean that we had a fall, that man was living in a fallen state before the fall of man. That creation was corrupt, that creation was not as we see it in the book of Genesis, but that for a very, very long time, corruption existed. And so that's totally inconsistent with our understanding of the fall and the consequences of the fall. And so it's impossible to talk about an old earth if we mean by that a corrupted earth from hundreds of thousands of millions of years. Totally impossible from the Orthodox cosmology and anthropology to talk about that. So it's just one example, but I highly recommend you get the book. I think they're working on a 3rd edition now. It's coming out hopefully very soon from St. Herman of Alaska Press, and just anything written by Father Seraphim Rose and the Holy Fathers, of course, that he's referencing, like St. Basil the Great and Ambrose and others. Which shows that it's incompatible. Evolution, for many other reasons, evolution is impossible for us to embrace. And frankly, it's outdated and it's been rejected. At least the classical evolution of Darwin has been rejected by modern science anyway. And there's plenty of people outside of the Orthodox Church today in the heterodox world who are pointing out this impossibility. And they're showing that modern science does not point to an evolution, an idea of evolution. It's impossible. For instance, the knowledge that we have of the cell of the human being, just the cell alone, is impossible to see that as something that could have evolved. That everything had to be perfectly created from the beginning for it to exist. And so that knowledge was never, of course, accessible to anyone before a few years ago, and certainly to Darwin. So all of that is very, it's been rejected. But it's also rejected because it's a philosophical religious faith that they have. They don't have proof of much of what they claim. It's very theoretical. And so there's no reason for us to have some kind of complex and to say we have to go along with the scientific world when they themselves are submitting things without scientific proof. The idea that they're speculating. They're speculating on the age of the earth. And we don't have to speculate in the Orthodox Church because we have experience of revelation. We have the revelation of Moses as to how the earth came to be. That is a revelation to Moses. He saw that and he wrote it down. That's what we believe as Orthodox Christians. We don't believe that he got it from human tradition alone, but that he himself had a vision. He had a revelation, just like John had a revelation of the end of things. He had a revelation of the beginning of things. So all that's incompatible for us.
Amen.